This is an actual Roman crucifixion spike.
Have you, by any chance, heard of the Shroud of Turin anywhere before? In case you haven't, it's good you are here. Don't forget, this is the religious skeptic. Now, what is this Shroud of Turin? The Shroud of Turin is a piece of cloth with the face of an image on it, and this image is perceived to be the face of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Many scholars believe that this piece of cloth was used to wrap the body of Jesus Christ when he was taken down from the cross. Now, there is a lot more debate going on if really this actually is the face and the body of Jesus Christ on this piece of cloth. Watch this video and tell me what you think.
To Jeremiah, the forensic evidence of it includes wounds consistent with Roman crucifixion practices, including puncture marks in the wrists and heels, hundreds of scourge marks from lead-tipped whips, and more than 50 punctures from a brutal crown of thorns. Now, the figure on the shroud has numerous anatomical abnormalities, people have pointed out. The arms, for example, seem freakishly long. The fingers are longer on one hand than the other. The supposition being the figure would have been considered a giant at the time. Men were typically averaging around 5'3". The figure measures 5'10" on one side, 6 feet on the other. Another weird discrepancy.
What will blow your mind again watching this video is this. The spike that the Romans were using to crucify people has been brought as evidence. You can imagine the length of this spike that the Romans were using as a form of evidence. Man, I don't know. Just watch this.
Just hold my ice cold Coke Zero while I answer these, will you? I love this because this is my area of specialty. First, I want to show you something, Piers. I've never shown this on any interview I've done. I just got this from the land of Israel. You just pointed out the fascinating correspondence of the wound marks in the man of the shroud. I'm holding in my hand, Piers. This is not a replica, Piers and Dr. Aceta. This is an actual Roman crucifixion spike that was from the Syrian province. I do a lot of work in archaeology, Pierce. I've been in more first century tombs than any guest you've ever interviewed. And this is 6 inches long. It's an iron spike. And for the benefit of our audience, this is what's so cool about Christianity. Christianity's closest cousin is actually archaeology and history. Other religions can't say that. What's fascinating about this crucifixion spike is it's actually bent and curved. If you can see that clearly, it's bent, it's curved. Crucifixion spikes were used again and again on different victims, and to minimize movement and maximize torment, if you can imagine, Piers, the crucifixion spike would actually be adjusted while the victim was dying of Roman crucifixion. And that's what we see right here reflected in this crucifixion spike. It reminds me of what David wrote in the Psalms 1,000 years earlier, Psalm 22:16, they pierced my hands and my feet. It's interesting, he says that 700 years before crucifixion is invented. When you look at the anatomical questions, and again, this is where my students and my 4 boys think it's really cool that I'm an expert in execution of the first century, by the way. When we crucified people under the Roman empires, first off, the shoulders would always be separated. And we see that there are abrasions on the shoulder of the crucified man. I don't think you pointed that out yet, Pierce, but when you look at the rear image, there's actual abrasions. Jesus is asked to carry what's called the patibulum. Just to correct, he's not carrying the whole cross. It's just the crossbeam called the patibulum. It would have weighed 125 pounds. Think about this, though. As you rightly pointed out, all the scourge marks. We count 372 scourge marks, that's front and back, on the image of the crucified man. We can approximate, because there's no lateral images, that there's over 700 wounds on the crucified man of the cross, or man of the shroud. And what's interesting, he's then asked, this is when Pilate brings him before the mob, and before the Jewish mob especially, and he says, "Ecce homo," in Latin, behold the man, and then the Jewish leadership who hated Jesus say, crucify him, crucify him. It's documented, and there's actually some phenomenal hematological studies, Pierce, on the blood.
What do you think?